Alright, resetting. The Inquisitor of the Sword from Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. This monster, in quotes, humanoid, has 16 AC from a breastplate. It's medium with 14 D8. Let's see here. Constitution is 14. And we don't really worry about the Wisdom or Charisma, so we'll just move on to there. And it's supposed to be a CR 8. And with those base stats out of the way, we'll take a look at the skill section. And we have, looks like 3 saves of Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. So that's going to give our Inquisitor of the Sword a +2 effective AC bonus. And then it has some condition immunities, which we don't care about. And that's pretty much it for the skills. So we'll just take a look quickly at the monster trait that it has of Metabolic Control. So, Metabolic Control, at the start of each of its turns, the Inquisitor regains 10 hit points and can end one condition on itself, provided the Inquisitor has at least 1 hit point. Well, that's a cute trait right there. Not only is it getting regen, but it's also stopping a condition, which is fantastic. So if it's blinded, it can stop being blind, or if it's unconscious, I guess technically it could stop unconsciousness. If it still has 1 hit point anyways. So we're going with regen of 10 per round, which is going to give it an additional 30 effective hit points for the first 3 rounds of combat. And let's see here. We also have a bonus action, which is neat. They've added that in, which is a little nice to see. And the actions. So we'll start with, let's take a look at the bonus action that it can do on its own. And it has Blink Step. The Inquisitor can teleport up to 60 feet to an unoccupied space it can see. That's pretty fantastic. That's pretty much like Nimble Escape, except without the attack bonus. And allows the Inquisitor of the Sword to just move away if they're getting swarmed or if they need to run. And 60 feet is already double movement. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use the Shadow Stealth. That is very similar to Nimble Escape, because what's going to happen is it's going to give it a +4 AC bonus here. Now, with Nimble Escape, we'll see that our monsters can disengage or hide as a bonus action. And it's that disengage wording that's pretty important here, because disengaging allows the goblins to just run away without having to be attacked, and they can only move up to those 40 or 30 feet away. Blink Step is allowing 60 feet, and is acting like a disengage as a bonus action, and just happens. It's just something they can do innately. It doesn't cost a spell slot or anything. So I'm going to suggest that Blink Step gives this humanoid a +4 AC bonus here, which is pretty heavy. The only other heavy one would be Shield, which, who knows? I mean, it's got innate spellcasting here for psionics. It might be in here. I mean, I'm looking quickly and I don't see it, but it does have Fly and greater invisibility. So we will take those into effect as well. Let's see about its actions. The Inquisitor of the Sword has an attack bonus of 7, so I'll throw that in now while I'm thinking about it. And it has a multi-attack of its longsword that it can be attacked. It can hit with twice. After it hits or misses with an attack, the Inquisitor can teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space it can see. Wow, this is really mobile. So not only can the Inquisitor here double attack with its longsword, it can then teleport away on top of that. And if it needs to, it can still Blink Step too. So it could Blink Step into battle, attack, and then technically Blink Step out for half the distance. This thing is moving like crazy. And because of that ability to move even further, I would suggest it gets even more AC, but let's see what happens with the Shadow Stealth for the time being. The Silvered Longsword, how much damage is this doing? We only have a breastplate, so we'll use it two-handed. So we'll get 9 points of damage there. And that's going to be 9.5 plus 18 force damage as well. That's going to be a heavy hit. And it can do that twice. So we're going to multiply our one attack 2 times. And then we also have innate spellcasting from psionics. Let's just take a look at the rest of this. It can use the wisdom spellcasting. Spell save is at 15. So it can detect magic, detect thoughts, dispel magic, sending, dimension door, fly, and greater invisibility. Alright, so greater invisibility is fantastic. It's not a bonus action, but we could potentially say that between either flying or greater invisibility here, we're going to see probably a +2 AC bonus from this as well. Because it can attack while invis, because of the greater invisibility. Okay, so back to what I was suggesting between fly and greater invisibility. This is a tricky one. Let's finish up the attacks though, and we'll come back to fly or greater invisibility here and see what we get. So we'll take that and just multiply that by 3. And it looks like we don't even really need to worry about it because we found the CR8. Our Inquisitor of the Sword is a CR8, and that's exactly what we found, which is fantastic. So the consistent blink steps and the ability to teleport during the multi-attack is huge here. Your players are gonna have a hard time trying to fight this humanoid if they come up to battle with it. And just for the heck of it, let's see what would happen if we added in fly. Technically, flying wouldn't count here because the Inquisitor has to fly in to deal damage and fly out. But I'm just ticking this as a fast +2 AC because of also the greater invisibility. Alright, so with flying or greater invisibility, technically not so much flying, but if the Inquisitor were to use the greater invisibility and get that +2 AC bonus, we're probably looking at a CR9 then. But if they don't use it or forget to use greater invisibility, then or lose it, then we have a CR8, which is pretty good. The Inquisitor of the Sword has been found at CR8 provided we don't use greater invisibility prior to battle. If we use it during battle, it will drop the OCR for that round to 0 because of the fact that it needs an action to cast it. But as I always kind of wiggle with the invisibility spell, it would technically delay combat because now it's harder to find or hit the target, and may still count. I need to get clarification on that from like the heads of D&D, which would be nice, but I'm still a small-time YouTuber at the moment. In the future, though, we'll see what happens.